Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the true crime king has returned. Ladies and gentlemen, how we doing? The king is back, guys. True crime king is back. What's up, guys? Welcome back to True Crime King, the best, the coolest reaction true crime channel out there. I said, if they say something else about me and they want the smoke, I'm gonna bring it to them. And next time, I'm not gonna stop. So we'll see. The ball's in their court now. Ladies and gentlemen, how we doing? The king is back with you. Morning, guys. True Crime King back.
Where she is, dude.
To have sexual relations with this creepy ass clown. This is gonna be a great video, or it's gonna be pretty crazy. So hit the like and subscribe button, buckle your seatbelts, and get ready. Let's go.
So I have a thought for you. Is Bryan Kohberger a serial killer, and is the finding of IDs in his residence indicative that he had done this before? Let's piece together a couple pieces of information.
Let's do it. Happy Monday, guys. True Crime King back. How we doing? Hope everybody had a good Easter. You played the Easter Bunny well. Didn't eat too much chocolate. Had an Easter egg hunt, whatever you do, right? Or just took it easy, whatever you do, right? But, all right. So we're going back to Tyler Feller because, again, he's got, looks like some news. Bryan Kohberger's trophies linked to other victims, all capitals. Uh-oh. So let's see what he's got. Here we go.
One, on Wednesday, there was a new report, supposedly breaking news, that was coming out. Everybody was saying, oh my gosh, Bryan Kohberger is connected to potential cold case murders in Pennsylvania.
Well, everybody was saying that because Chris Cuomo had an exclusive breaking news thing, and then everybody piled on top. But you can thank Chris Cuomo for that.
That was all. I wasn't sure if it was old news that they were trying to recycle because they were out of headlines, if there was more meat to the bones. We then found an interview from Brian Ensign the next day where he says it's been confirmed that there are 2 homicide cases in Pennsylvania that Bryan Kohberger is linked to.
Yeah, so remember I made the video the other day talking about kind of how he's been connected to some other cases, and that has been confirmed by multiple sources. You just heard 2 of them right there, Brian Ensign and Chris Cuomo.
The very next day, on Thursday, in the evening news, more breaking news sort of hits the ecosystem as it pertains to this case with Bryan Kohberger, and the conversation then shifts to ID cards of people who live in the residence of 1122 King Road were found inside of a glove, inside of a box, inside of Bryan Kohberger's house.
Okay, see, now this is where everybody, so some news stations are reporting it was found in a shoebox inside of a glove that was in that shoebox, okay, but in the car, right? But then some are reporting it was found in a glove, in a shoebox, in the house, right? I thought when they released the search warrant stuff that it was found in the house. That's what I heard the first time. But it keeps changing, you know. It depends on what source you watch. But I'm going to go, it was found in a glove, in a box, in the house. Because doing some, you going back, that's what was originally reported. It was in the house. Not the car. But, yeah. So we're going to go with that for now.
I think that that's really important. And I'm going to show the receipt of the affidavit from his home now that shows that, so we can just make sure that you see that it's
Okay, good. Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
It's plural. But my head started to think the combination of those two pieces of information leaking out together, it makes me think, and I could be wrong, but it makes me think that they have pinpointed, based on the ID cards that they found with Bryan Kohberger, that they have pinpointed him to other crimes in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, because let's say he's got an ID or two from like one or two people that were murdered in Pennsylvania, right? Uh, duh. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to be like, oh, hey, these people were murdered, uh, and Kohberger has got an ID from the Idaho murders where he's a suspect in jail. So, hey, maybe he murdered these two people, or these people that he's got the IDs of from Pennsylvania too, right?
Could it be that he's a serial killer who takes the trophy of an ID card of,
or maybe he's just a stalker, or broke into their house and stole the IDs. Who knows? But either way, he shouldn't be having other people's IDs in a fucking glove in his house, in a box, or at all, right? You shouldn't have anybody else's ID. Unless you're a creepy stalker dude and a murderer, right?
his victims. And as they were taking the things from his residence, they found ID cards from previous victims of his. Is it possible that he has lots and lots and lots of victims' ID cards sitting around? That way he can remember exactly who it was that he committed these atrocities to? That's what I'm wondering, and that's what I'm thinking, at least based on the way that the information was released. Just think about this. The Pennsylvania Police Department has came out and confirmed some of this information. But just think about this. It's leaking that he's committed 2 other possible murders he's being investigated for. It was leaking that they have ID cards, multiple ID cards, including that which belongs to 1122 King Road. I find it to be very intriguing. I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comment section and help sort of.
Yeah, I'd like to know your thoughts down in my comment section too. And if you know, if this is all true, it's gonna, I mean, if he does really have other IDs, right, including an ID from one of the victims in Idaho, it's pointing more and more towards maybe he is a serial killer, right? I'm not saying he is at this point. I mean, I want to make sure and hear all the evidence and make sure he actually, is connected, to these other two legitimately. But I'm convinced he's at least a thrill killer or a murderer, because I believe he did commit the Idaho murders already. That's my opinion.
Connect the thoughts or disconnect them as long as you remain respectful. Literally, there's no reason for you to be disrespectful in the comment section or personal in any way. We love different opinions on this channel, but one of the things that we absolutely hate and find appalling and just will earn you a block on this channel is whenever you make something really personal. There's no reason to insult or call names to anybody ever. But if you disagree with the theory, that's fine. I'd love to hear why you think that. Jennifer Coffendorfer tweets saying this: some serial killers take souvenirs as physical reminders of the killing. It helps them relive the crime / aid in sexual acts.
Yeah, many serial killers or murderers do this, like many of them. I guess it does help them relive it, right? I guess when they're getting their crazy ass thoughts in their clown ass head, they can go look at some underwear they took or whatever it is, and or the IDs, and get some kind of adrenaline rush, because these guys get sexual gratification from this kind of shit, I mean, mental illness, that's what it is.
Trophies taken from previous serial killers have included underwear, jewelry, backpack, trigger warning, feet, eyes, heads, genitalia. Yes, they will risk taking.
I don't know why he needed a trigger warning for that. I mean, we're all adults here. It just says genitalia. I mean, come on. Do we really need to put a trigger warning for the word genitalia? Alright.
Taking the time to get one. And one of the things, too, that, I mean, it's clear that ID cards are probably his trophy based on what we know. One of the things that I wanted to share with you guys, because there's multiple news outlets who keep saying that they found these ID cards in his glove box. I'm reading to you the receipt for property from 119 Lambsden Drive, which is Bryan Kohberger's house. And on it, item number 35, it says ID cards inside the glove, inside of a box. I want to be crystal clear to all of the fake headlines, including some major outlets are reporting this. It is crystal clear that they took these ID cards from a glove that was inside of a box that was inside of Bryan Kohberger's house.
Okay, let's stop him there. So, receipt for the property. This is at the parents' house in Albrightsville, PA. Let's see where it says. It says ID cards inside glove, inside box. Number 35. Does everybody see that? Okay? So it was not in the car. It was in the Albrightsville 1119 Lambsden Drive house. Okay? That's where, inside a box, inside some creepy ass glove that I would not want to fucking touch. Okay? I would be wearing gloves, touching that glove, and getting them cards out of that glove. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah. So, there you go. So, everybody that's reporting it, including me, because I was getting my information from these news stations like News Nation, but they got it wrong. It was in the house. There it is right there, so everybody can see. Smash that like button for me.
Not inside of the glove compartment in his car. This is so crystal clear.
All right, Tyler. That's what News Nation was reporting. You can go back and look at my video because I reacted to it. That's why I even thought at first, for a minute, that it was in the glove box because that's what the Cuomo was telling me, right?
Journalists that are reporting contrary to that either have an inside scoop or are just trying to get a really quick story up. And if they're just trying to get a really quick story up, I find that because they're not paying attention to even the basics of what's going on here. Now, Cuomo had several people on his panel the other day.
Well, show Cuomo where he's saying that it was found in the glove box. If you're going to pull Cuomo up, fella. And also, you like to put quick stories up too, so calm down with the, you're on your high horse. Everybody makes mistakes, right?
Just conversing on whether or not Bryan Kohberger is, in fact,
I mean, Tyler Feller's the clickbait title king, right?
Serial killer.
The final expression of all of his anger and rage at all these women who have been rejecting him all his life.
And if he is an involuntarily celibate male, what you...
That's an incel for all of you. Incel, involuntary celibate. That means they think they cannot have sex with a woman because they think no woman will have sex with them. And then they go on shooting rampages.
You're calling it incel. What does what we know so far suggest in terms of this was a one-off, of a one-time object of his obsession versus he's done this other times?
Yes, that's an interesting question because you know, it's possible that there were other women before before these three, and of course, Chad is Ethan is a Chad, the man who can get a Stacy as a girlfriend. So there.
Yeah, they have all kinds of weird ass terminology like Chads and Stacy's. I'm not gonna get into that shit because I'm not an incel and I don't speak that way. I speak normal English, okay? So that's what I'm gonna be speaking on my channel here. I'm not gonna be using Chads and Stacy's and all that shit.
There might have been others before this. I don't necessarily think that that's the case, but there could be things like dogs, for example, or animals, other kinds of animals that he was trying out some of his, some of this stabbing on to see how it felt and how hard.
I mean, I don't know. Do you have any evidence of that, lady? But, we all know if someone starts out killing animals, then that's a huge red flag. And a lot of killers do start out that way, especially, younger, killing animals and stuff like that. So if you see something like that, you might want to tell somebody and keep an eye on that person, right?
Hard it was and so on. But I don't know that there would have been a perfect incel, Stacy, Chad kind of situation.
Fascinating. Coffindaffer, in terms of how you wind up having to...
There's Coffindaffer. Looks different every time, I'm telling you.
Portion resources as an investigation starts to go from one to maybe not one and done. What does that look like investigatively in terms of what we've learned from the circumstances so far?
Well, it means more resources, specifically if other individuals have been identified, they're going to put a lot of resources, not only federal resources, particularly the FBI, but those state and local resources to look into those possible cases that exist.
Garagos, do me a favor. Put on your just wisdom hat for a second, not defense counsel hat. As you know,
well, that's going to be hard. I mean, because his brain's hardwired now to always, think from the defense point of view, right? Let's see what he's got.
Along, I've been like, this guy stunk at this. For a guy who was getting his doctorate in criminology, he drove his own car. He was in places where he knew there may be surveillance. We know what he did inside the house that was anything but methodical. He came with a hunting knife or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, Cuomo's right there. For somebody who was actually studying criminology like Kohberger, he really bungled this one up. I mean, if he's done this before, I don't know how he didn't get caught if he fucking was doing it like this, right? Now, this kind of makes you wonder, is he actually connected to other murders? Because he did such a horrible job with this one, right? It seems like he was either rushed or just didn't know what he was really doing or didn't have it planned out really good. I mean, he made so many mistakes. At first, it's kind of hard to believe, but now with all this coming out, it's just fact that Kohberger is not a good killer at all, right? But that's a good thing, right? Clowns in jail.
Military-style knife. I walked out and left a witness. All kinds of things. Talked about it, was online.
Yeah, he looked Dylan right in the eyes, and it wasn't because of visual fucking snow, okay? He could see just fine. No driving restrictions. I mean, come on. Don't even think about that visual snow. He looked Dylan right in the eyes and walked out. Left a witness that could identify his big bushy eyebrows, okay?
Line about it. I've never been impressed by his execution, let's say. But in your experience, what kinds, can you draw any kind of observation of what kinds of assailants are repeat versus one time?
You know, that's an interesting question, to borrow Carol's expressions, with apologies. The interesting thing that I've found, and I've handled more than my fair share of homicide cases, is if there is a repeat, and I'm thinking it's few and far between in terms of serial killers, but repeat murders or being accused of murder, there is a type, and there kind of a 0 to 60 kind of emotion, and the things that trigger are always overstated, if you will, representing people who have committed or been accused of committing the crime with a long period of time in between.
Almost seems like Tyler Feller's turning into a reaction kind of channel, like my kind of channel, right? But anyway, you would think a killer would, get better with the more murders you do, right? I mean, I don't know. But, yeah, this video's got 30 seconds left. Tyler's just going to say his goodbye. But, hope you guys liked it. If you did, smash that like button for me. And until next time, guys, True Crime King out.